welcome you back to College Station and to Kyle Field here on the A&M campus. It's SEC Network Takeover Day for the Aggies. We are joined now by the Chancellor of the Texas A&M University System, and that is Mr. John Sharp. He is Aggie class of 1972. And thanks so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you. It's sure good to be with you.
You think about Texas A&M right now and all that's going on. There's a new president. There's a robust investment in research, and obviously the new Kyle Field is taking shape. Is it truly a great time to be an Aggie?
It really is. The new president that we have is generally considered to be one of the top 5 or 10 presidents in the country. He chose to come to Texas A&M because he saw the ascension that's happening here. Our research is top 20 in the nation. Nobody below the Mason-Dixon line, much less in Texas or in the southwestern United States, can compete with us in research. You have to go to the West Coast or the East Coast to find something close to $830 million of research. But the best thing here is, always has been, our students. Yeah. They're different, they're special. I don't know if they come here that way from their moms and dads or we make them that way. But there is a reason that they're the #2 recruited young men and women for employment in the United States, and that's because they're full of respect, they're patriotic, I always tell everybody, if you want to see the difference between A&M and most other places, walk on campus, act like you're lost, see how many dozens of young students will come up to you and say, "Sir, ma'am, can we help you?" And then go try that any place else in the country and see what happens. They're just different, and this stadium is for them.
Texas is vital to A&M. This state always has been, it always will be. But these days, are you taking Texas A&M's mark and its brand outside the borders of the Lone Star State?
Oh, it really is. And so many things that we have always known were special about Texas A&M, now they're seeing it in New York, and now they're seeing it in California. And one of the reasons for that was the move to the SEC, was the building of this stadium, the prominence that a Heisman Trophy winner brought. And so we unashamedly use those things and use this stadium to project not just football and not just athletics, but to project how great this university really is in so many areas.
And is the new Kyle Field another way for Texas A&M to make its mark across the country?
You're not going to believe how majestic this stadium is going to look. I mean, from the inside boxes to the special rooms to there's so many things here. I mean, one example is this is going to be the first outdoor stadium that has an IBM Wi-Fi program that can simultaneously handle 100,000 calls. I get 2 kinds of emails on Mondays. One is from women who say there's not enough bathrooms in Kyle Field, and the other one is from people who say my phone doesn't work, and I want both of those emails to stop. And so we have about a 300% increase in women's restrooms in Kyle Field. We also have an IBM system that's going to be built into this field that will handle 100,000 calls simultaneously. What that means is if 100,000 people at exactly the same time hit send, it would handle those calls. And we already know it's working so well that it's going to go next into Reliant Stadium and several other places around the country.
It's the largest redevelopment project to a stadium in college football history. That obviously involves a lot. How have Aggies stepped up to make this happen?
Well, the suites and things like that sold out in a matter of minutes when the times came. Our former students, our students, are the most loyal in the world. If there's somebody else out there more loyal to their university than an Aggie, we've not been able to find them. And they have put their dollars and their hearts and their souls into this development project. And when we needed money to finish something, we did it. When we needed money from students for a fee, we put it on there. When the city of College Station was asked to put some money into it, they put some money into it. And Lord knows the former students and the 12th man really stepped up forward and put a large amount of money into the project as well. But it was a team effort by everybody. The way buildings get built in the A&M system is the universities will design a building. In this case, it was handed off by the university to the 12th man. They design the building, and then they give it to the Chancellor's office, and our FP&C folks, Philip Ray and Russ Wallace and his crew built it, and they did a magnificent job. But one of the best things about being an Aggie is the folks that are building this place, Manhattan Vaughn, are Aggies, and they have partners like Fred Heldenfels, who's an Aggie and stuff like that. And there were literally many times when they made decisions to lose money on a particular phase in order to make sure this thing came up on time. And you don't get that with regular contractors. So we were lucky to have Aggies building this thing.
The west side is almost complete, and that phase began with its implosion of the old part of the stadium just before Christmas of 2014. You actually got to set that implosion off. Everything that's on your plate, a lot going on as Chancellor, I'd imagine that's one of the perks of the job, though.
You know, that was. I still awe at how in the world you can drop those things. I mean, a friend of mine that worked for Manhattan Vaughn put a marker down at a certain place, and he said this, and it was right by where the implosion was going to happen on the northwest side. And he said, this will not be covered up with debris. And I mean, it was 10 feet away from where the deal was, and the thing fell, and there wasn't a rock on that thing when I went to check it the next day. It is amazing the engineering that people can do in dropping that. But boy, you're right. When that thing came down, I was a little bit stunned to watch that. So stunned I didn't get out of the way when the ball of dust came. I was the last one to get in the tent, right?
We're visiting with Texas A&M System Chancellor John Sharp. More with him on Kyle Field when we come back. Welcome back on the SEC Network. We are chatting with Texas A&M University System Chancellor John Sharp. We are discussing the brand new Kyle Field that will be unveiled in September. And Chancellor, I know you've mentioned some of the amenities that will be a part of the new stadium, but the list is long of what this will offer, particularly seats being closer to the field, and canopies will offer shade, more of it, to fans.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot about the canopies on the east and west side. When it first came to our office, there was a canopy on one side, but wasn't a canopy on the other side. But so we added the canopy on the other side. And a lot of people say, well, when you added it on the other side, that didn't provide any shades. And I said, well, you don't get it. That's not why we have the canopies. The canopies are there because of sound, not because of shade. We want the sound of the whole stadium focused right in front of Kevin Sumlin when he's on the sidelines. And quite frankly, that's the main purpose behind it. But we also have, a lot of the press boxes are going to be in some of those canopies, and so they serve a big purpose as well.
We mentioned earlier you're a 1972 graduate of this university. How has Texas A&M changed from your time as a student to now seeing you as the chancellor?
Yeah, when I graduated, there were 14,000 students. 742 were women. Half of them were married. And I remember May 6, 1972, when I graduated, telling my dad as we drove out of town, there ain't a way in the world the spirit that I saw here in the Corps of Cadets is going to be here 30, 40 years from now. Boy, was I wrong. I think it may be stronger than it ever was before. My theory is that the Corps of Cadets mixes the Kool-Aid, but everybody drinks it. And it is the darndest spirit that exists anywhere in the country. I tell people all the time at Rotary clubs and Lions clubs and things, if you want to feel good about the future of this country, you come spend a couple hours walking through the A&M campus, and you will feel real good about what the future of this state's about.
And do you feel the new Kyle Field is a symbol of the growth of this university?
This is a stadium that when you walk through it, when it is constructed, your jaw's going to drop open a little bit. I've seen just some renderings of what it's like, and what's fixing to happen here doesn't exist anyplace else around here. And it's going to represent the true greatness of what Texas A&M is about. It's going to be one of those symbols. But it is not the most important thing here. Those students are. But what the stadium, I've always said, is going to be, because this stadium and what happens in it produces so much press and so much goodwill and so much recognition, that everything else we tie to it, and it winds up helping. And you look at the Google hits. You can measure, as you know, every time you've been on the radio, every time you've been on TV, every time you've been mentioned anywhere. They've increased, aside from athletics, about 15% in the last 3 years. But part of that has to do with what Kyle Field did and what Johnny did and what so many other things did. But it affects everything that happens in the university. Our research gets picked up and printed a lot more easily. But A&M, I think those folks that considered themselves ahead of us academically in different things in the past, or a lot of them are now in our rearview mirror watching.
September 12th, Texas A&M hosts Ball State, a 6 o'clock kickoff, the game on ESPNU, by the way. Have you allowed yourself to think forward to that night, the feelings that'll run through you as Texas A&M takes to Kyle, the redeveloped Kyle, for the first time?
I'm really looking forward to that. We just appointed a committee. The new President Young and I just appointed a committee to put some festivities around that night, whether it's fireworks, I don't know what they're going to come up with, but a really special opening of Kyle Field. And I look forward to handing those keys to Mike Young and say, here's, Kyle Field is yours. It will be one of the things when I'm in my rocking chair that I look back and say, boy, that was a special deal they allowed me to do in building Kyle Field. And I will always be grateful to the people in FPNC, Philip Ray, Russ Wallace, and those folks for the great job that they did, not to mention Manhattan Bond, Fred Heldenfels, and others.
Certainly, and the project certainly means that you're busy, and we certainly appreciate the time, Chancellor Sharp.
Oh, I'm sure glad to be here. Thanks for what you do.
When we come back, Casey Smith takes you inside the construction of the west side of the new Kyle Field. It's on the other side of the break.
We're here with the Vice President of Sports for Manhattan Bond and Kyle Field's Project Director, Greg McClure. He's going to take us around this incredible thing standing behind us. Got our hard hats on, vests. I feel like it's a fashion statement.
Absolutely.
What all are we going to see today, Greg?
Well, we're seeing the west side, which is the last phase of the Kyle Field redevelopment. And we'll start in the bottom club of the Hall of Champions. We'll work our way up.
Well, I know I'm excited to get the first look, so let's go on in.
Right, sounds good. Kind of as we walk in, this is the Hall of Champions that we're going to be walking into.
Okay.
33,000 square foot space.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And obviously on game day, the idea is to kind of have a space that anybody here on the west side can kind of come into. Obviously have concessions and toilets and that kind of stuff. But their big deal here is this is going to kind of celebrate all athletics Texas A&M wise.
Very cool.
They will, it won't just be football. They will have track, baseball, soccer, whatever happens in sports in A&M's history, they're going to celebrate it in here. We've got three big video boards up here, one in the center. They have a ribbon board that goes all the way around, which they're going to kind of have their Hall of Fame members just can scroll going around. And just a high-end, very nice, Hall of Fame, if you will. It's called the Hall of Champions for a reason, and it'll kind of highlight everything there ever was about A&M sports. During like normal week, obviously it's open for, they will have weeks or days that they're open for anybody to come in and take a look at. On non-game days, I know they intend to use this space for meetings and gatherings. It'll be a very nice high-end space that I think everybody will be proud of and enjoy coming by And they have a group that will kind of keep it live, keep it going. It won't just become static. In 10 years from now, it's the same thing you saw, in September of this coming year. It'll be more than that.
So all the projects that you've worked on throughout your career, what makes this so unique for Texas A&M?
Well, for Texas A&M, obviously, to take the old Kyle Field, it didn't have a lot to offer, right? It was kind of old and dated. Everybody loved it. I grew up coming to football games here. My family are Aggies. I'm an Aggie, and
Me too.
This was it. This was the place to be on Saturday afternoons. I came down here with my family. My brother graduated from here, and uncles and all kinds of stuff. So for A&M, and I think A&M fans in general, we now have a place to call home that we are very, very proud of.
Talk about tradition. This
Right.
space is going to be brand new to
Right.
A&M, but what's going to kind of have the old feel of people like us who have gone to games forever
Right.
here at Kyle Field?
They're going to drop back and tell the history of Texas A&M athletics, and that's what's going to be in here. Also, some of the things that we took out of the old Kyle Field, some of the plaques, some of the old cast stone letters that were way 1920s type Kyle Field. We've saved those, and they'll be displayed somehow, some way in this space. So you'll be able to see the history of Kyle Field. I do know they have an interactive, you'll be able to see all that and kind of see how this thing evolved. They've done a good job of tying that all in. You can see the glass up here. Obviously it drops down. That's kind of an open area, but it's all glazed in on the other side, and then this has all got, there's your escalators going up. There's glass in behind all here, and it's just a huge space where people walk in here. They come through. This is the maroon cube I was talking about.
Okay.
They come in, and that's the first thing you're going to see is that huge video screen here. This is all maroon glass tile with lights and everything going on here, and then you walk in, there's that huge logo that sits right up in the ceiling that's going to be right in your face. So as you walk through this space, you're going to walk in, and they're going to have an interactive system all the way around it, and you just kind of gather and mingle and meet people and just kind of enjoy a minute just to kind of learn a little bit about A&M.
Have fun with some Aggies.
Absolutely. Yeah, you bet.
When you look at your time on this project, and you've mentioned to me that this is one of your favorite projects you've ever done, what does this specific space mean to you personally, taking away the fact that you've had to work on it for so long, but just personally, what does this mean to you?
Well, to me, I'm always going to be able to walk in here and say, look at what we did. For me to be identified with having some small part of building this is just, for an Aggie, you can't ask for more than that. Just the great feelings on that game day on September 12th when we opened this up for everybody in the world to walk in here and go see. And know, you know what? I was there for the entire thing. I helped plan it all. This is actually, I've been on this job for almost 3 years now. Before we ever broke ground and started doing any construction, I was helping plan it. And to see it all coming into play now is just awestruck. It just makes me feel so grateful to have had the career that I'm having and to be a part of something like this. And when it's your alma mater, it just makes it better.
This is really cool.
Yeah,
people are gonna have to kick me out of here.
We've taken pictures of this and sent it to people, and I keep telling them, pictures do it no justice.
Well, and it's just massive.
Yeah, it is. The sheer volume of this space is more than you would have ever imagined. So this is what we call the All-American Club. It services 2 levels of suites, and basically it's just a gathering hall for the club seats and then those suite holders. And so, bars, concessions, gathering space everywhere for people just to sit and chat and talk, come out of the heat, go back out to the game, whatever they want to do. This space it's not as high end as, say, the Founders parlor area, but it's still very, very nice. Lots of woods, lots of stones, carpet on the floor and stone on the floor, and then just lots of places to sit and talk. This will be open to kind of anybody. The Founders Club, say if he has somebody up there he wants to come see, he'll come up here and see them. Obviously you've got 2 levels of suites all the way down through here. Those people will have, they walk out of their suite, walk right down to this level. We even have a pizza oven in this place. And so they'll be able to come down and get, a different type of food. Maybe they have one type of food in their suite. Then they have a different type of food out here in the club area. They can get a drink. They can sit down on their couch. They can do whatever they want to do. Get on the cell phone, make a private phone call, whatever they want to do.
I think it's very cool.
And then we can walk over here to the Legacy Club, and it's even different again. So this is the Legacy Club. What this is obviously these suites here, once again, right on the 50, just a little bit nicer. And then you have your own little private club back in here. This also allows, there's 2 sections out in the seating bowl that are club seats. They're a little bit higher end, they have full service, they can walk back up in here, get a drink, get something to eat, whatever they want to eat, a little different food fare, whatever they want to find. They have their own little private club back in here. Outside of the bigger clubs on each end, but obviously these guys can go right out there and go to those clubs too. So the way Kyle Field will be set up now, the north tower will have escalators and stairs.
Okay.
The south towers always have ramps. So however you want to get there, you can. Plus you have 4 elevators that will go up there too.
Okay.
So there's numerous ways for you to be able to get up there if you want to walk it, if you want to climb stairs, if you want to ride an escalator, whatever you want to do.
Perfect.
Yep. So,
Okay.
you know, kind of from once you're inside here, you can tell we've got kind of the stud system set up. This will all be sheetrocked, and it's got big brick wall or brick. It's hand-laid brick that goes all the way up to the top, so you kind of get that feel from the outside coming in. It'll be very, very nice.
So obviously a lot of moving parts are going on. You said about 1,000 people a day
Yep.
working on this. What's the big picture message about what's going on here at Texas A&M at Kyle Field?
The big picture right now is we're going to finish. That's not even in doubt. You know, failure's not an option. We have a great team of planners that will plan this and have planned it for years. And now it's great to see it actually coming into place and working the way it was meant to work. You know, you look at a space that on December 21st we blew up what was here, and it was a big pile of rubble, and now look around what we've got right now some 6-7 months later, and it's amazing. And just know that we've hit just about every milestone date we ever wanted, and we have endured rain and hurricanes or tropical depressions and everything you could think of that has rolled our way. We've worked right through it. That's a tribute to the men and ladies who work for us every day, and they're getting it done. And we can't ask for more.
Well, you say understatement of the day, saying it's amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous
Yeah.
and beautiful. So thank you so much for
you
showing us
bet.
around.
You bet.
I know Aggies are going to be excited to
Absolutely.
see what's going on here on the west
Come
side
back
of Kyle
September
Field.
12th, and we'll be open for show.
Well, you don't have to pressure me. I'll be here.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
so
look
much.
forward to having you.
Thank you.
You bet.